Okay. Mayor, I just want to know I'm on.
Thank you for being here this evening. I'd like to welcome you to the City Council regular meeting on Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. This time I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask that Councilmember Bob Marsh, I apologize, we're going to have you, Councilmember Bob Marsh, do the Pledge of Allegiance if you wouldn't mind, and then also have Pastor Andrew Schlecht from the Maricopa Lutheran Church to please come forward and give us the invocation. Thank you. Please rise.
Let us pray. Good and gracious Father, we thank you for the abundant blessings you have given us, for family and friends, for our community, for the world you have created, and for life itself. As we seek to love and serve both you and our neighbors, we thank you for our leaders who gather here today, for the mayor, the city council, the city manager, and all the city staff. Grant them ears to listen to you, to one another, and to the people they serve. Grant them the gifts of wisdom and discernment so they will do your will and not their own. We thank you for all the city staff and volunteers who work tirelessly behind the scenes and dedicate their lives to this community. Grant them rest and peace. Unite us as one people, dedicated to bringing justice and peace to everyone in our community, especially those who are too often ignored. To you be all honor and glory and praise. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge the flag of the United States of America
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Councilmember, and thank you, Pastor. We appreciate your participation this evening. That'll take us to the roll call, please. Adriana.
Councilmember Learman?
Here.
Councilmember Manfredi?
Here.
Councilmember Marsh?
Here.
Councilmember Bidiello? I know he's here.
Here.
Oh, there he is. Councilmember Wade?
Here.
Vice Mayor Smith? Mayor Price?
Here.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. This time we have no proclamations, acknowledgements, and awards. That'll take us to item 4, which is the report from the mayor. I also turn the time over to our council members, and we'll start with Councilmember Marsh.
I've had a busy couple of weeks since the last council meeting. On May 5th, I attended a broadband seminar with the Arizona Commerce Authority, where I learned that 62% of Americans have been working from home during this pandemic year. I also learned that the census.gov website has a tool on it called Quick Facts, where you can get facts like that very easily. Just go to census.gov and look for Quick Facts. It's amazing. On the 6th of May, I attended the Maricopa Flood Control District meeting, and I learned there's an election coming up for a board seat. So if you want to run for the Maricopa Flood Control District, contact them on their website and get an application. They also announced that FEMA approved the use of funds for the Desert Cedars flood mitigation project, CLOMER. That's the certified letter of map revision. They're doing a project to mitigate the flood risk in Desert Cedars. On the 7th of May, I attended the Maricopa Unified School District High School number 2 groundbreaking. That was exciting. Giant step for MUSD and for the city, and a beautiful site for a high school. On the 11th of May, I attended the Pinal County Water Augmentation Authority board meeting. That's the board that is responsible for coming up with new water sources for Pinal County. And there I learned that the Central Arizona project is going to move to a Tier 1 shortfall of water in 2022. That's going to change the flow of water to agriculture, non-Indian agriculture especially, throughout Pinal County coming up in 2022. We are running out of water, but not here in Maricopa. The Council on Foreign Relations is promoting a program against extremism in our country with their Strong Cities initiative. The Greater Phoenix Economic Council announced that 70% of emissions, carbon emissions, on our planet right now are due to mobility, to transportation. Here in Maricopa, you can add cows and chickens to that. On May 14th, I attended the Pinal Partnerships Breakfast hosted by Tony Smith, our own Tony Smith, and Jordan Rose. They had one representative and one senator speaking, and it was quite an education. Yesterday, I attended the Age Friendly Advisory Committee. They're getting ready for the new senior center that's going to be opening probably in July. And they're prepping for the next Senior Expo in January. If you want to attend Age Friendly Advisory Committee meetings, the schedule's on the city website. And that's about it for me.
Thank you, Councilmember. Vice Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it was another great couple of weeks. I as well participated in person at the Pinal Partnership Breakfast, and it was fascinating to be there in person without masks, just enjoying the crowd and the information. As Councilmember Marsh mentioned, they had two legislators from our state, a representative and a senator, and in terms of what and how it impacted the city of Maricopa, the two most wonderful takeaways that I had was they talked specifically about State Route 347 and the Riggs overpass, and I was like, I actually yelled out, hallelujah, and got a great response from them because they're working hard to get us that money for the Riggs overpass. So that was really, really great to hear them say, and I didn't even have to ask the question. And then second of all, they're talking about the flat tax at the state level, as you know, and these two representatives are dead set to protect the cities of Pinal County in terms of making sure that if the state goes to a flat tax, it doesn't impact the income from the state to the cities at all, not one dime. We're not willing to give up one dime. And so these two legislators are willing to protect that in terms of revenue for the city of Maricopa. So that was really, really exciting to hear them say and to support that thinking. And then I had the fun opportunity to be at two school celebrations for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is the whole week of the first week of May. It was exciting. I worked with the Boys and Girls Club and did Bahama Bucks for the teachers there, and then also Community Hope Church, and worked with another school, a different school, and served Bahama Buck gift cards there too. So that was really fun. This Friday, we're back to senior lunch and learns that are in person, and you don't have to wear a mask. You can wear a mask, but we have the most phenomenal speaker this Friday, and it's sold out. And our speaker is our own city manager, Rick Horst. And so people were dying to hear from him. So we even raised the number of people that can attend in order to accommodate as many as possible. But what I wanted to do is give you a heads up in case you're interested. Our June Lunch and Learn is on the third Friday of June. And it's with Exceptional Healthcare. And they're going to tell us all about what they are going to be offering when their new facility opens. And so it's going to be a phenomenal experience as well. I don't think it can top our city manager, Rick Horst, but, you know, they're going to be really interesting and have some really good information for us. And then lastly, last Thursday, my daughter gave birth to a baby girl, so I'm another new grandma. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We'll go to Councilmember Freddie.
Couple meetings, couple things, doing a lot of stuff, of course. I don't write everything down. I'm horrible. So, you know, when I go out and I go to meetings, and by the time I get here, I'm getting old, so I forget most of the stuff, I guess. I don't know. But when I look at, when I heard Nancy, I wasn't going to say anything until I heard Nancy mention the Riggs overpass. And I wanted to, you know, maybe I shouldn't say this, but Brett Roberts, who's our state representative, pushed that through, and he pushed it through as a bill that was voted on and passed through the House and the Senate, and then essentially it kind of goes into a big box, right? And what they do is they'll fight over the money that they have at the state level to fund these bills. And this bill is, $35 million or something close for the overpass for Riggs to go over 347. Make sense? That way you don't got to stop at Riggs Road anymore because it will be above you, right? So I received, since I serve on RTAC, it's a Rural Transportation Committee that I sit on, and I received a budget from the state, right? So one of the director of the board of the committee, he sent me the budget, and it's a tentative budget. It's not the budget they're going to vote on right now, but hopefully in the next week or a week and a half, they'll be voting on the budget. And in the budget has, hard to see, again, I'm old, the Riggs Road 347 design and construction, $25 million. Riggs Road environmental study, $2.5 million. Riggs Road 347 final design and easements, $7.5 million. If that sits in the budget, that makes it, the Riggs Road overpass makes it happen. So if you get a chance, let Brett Roberts know that you appreciate it, but also let other representatives and senators, especially ones that serve on the budget committee, I'll put their names and their email addresses on my Facebook page. Send them an email and just say, hey, we really want to make sure this stays in the budget and vote it through. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Appreciate it. Councilmember Learman.
Thank you. On May 5th, I attended the League of Arizona Cities and Towns Neighborhood Sustainability and Quality of Life meeting. Maricopa is doing really well in our efforts of recycling, and we have a robust food rescue program 6 days a week, so I was really happy to hear that. I wanted to remind our community that Maricopa Unified School District is seeking renewal of the 2016 budget override, which would help to maintain current funding for the district, especially keeping this in mind with our continued growth. I'm hopeful that community members will support this renewal. It is not an increase, only a continuation. And if our voters choose not to continue their support, the district will start to lose 10% of funding beginning next year. On May 10th, I attended the Pinal County Business and Education meeting, and I'm really excited that our youth here in Maricopa this summer will be able to access the Pinal County Mobile Fabrication Lab, which will allow youth to participate and engage in science, technology, engineering, and math activities. Thank you to Nathan Uliat for helping arrange this event. There are regional efforts here in Pinal County to strategize supports to increase student interest in careers in engineering due to the current development of automotive manufacturing in our county. So this is a really exciting event for our youth and our community. On May 13th, I participated in the annual Law Enforcement 5K Torch Run. It was a lot of fun and a beautiful morning and a great event to raise money for Special Olympians. On May 14th, I attended the Maricopa Association of Government Mobility and Safety meeting. And yesterday, I had a tour of the 4 Maricopa Food Bank with Wendy Webb and one of her volunteers, Jill Wyckoff. They serve 300 families a week, and I was impressed by its growth and the development of their facility. They also gave a large donation to Copa Closet for our school district, and I really appreciated that. On May 17th, I attended the Maricopa Association of Government Responsiveness and Preservation meeting. I am looking forward to May 31st, honoring Memorial Day, where we will be remembering men and women who have given their lives while serving in the military to protect our country. I also just wanted to mention again that our community experienced a great loss this last week, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I just wanted to share that Maricopa does have many mental health agencies here in Maricopa who are willing and actively serving our community members. We have La Frontera Impact, which is a suicide prevention agency. We have Northern Lights Therapy located over by Walgreens. We have Solutions Therapy, Reflections Counseling, and Wells Counseling, which are also over by Walgreens. There's also a free Pinal County crisis line, 866-495-6735. And this is available 24 hours a day to our residents at no cost. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Appreciate it. Councilmember Wade.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's really good to see so many folks in the council chambers this evening. We've been suffering from onesies and twosies, but it looks like it's filled up almost tonight, so really appreciate seeing you. The problem with going last is that everybody talks about everything that they did, and it includes you. So I did something at the library, and I think I'll repeat it again here today. Ditto. That is my activities for the last couple of weeks. But I do want to make sure that I announce that on next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, the 22nd Saturday, we'll be holding a conversation over at the library with the reinvention of the Councilman on the Corner. We'll be having a conversation with with Maricopa PD, and looking forward to having that opportunity to have that conversation. We're going to use a format that is something termed a living room conversation, and basically offer the opportunity to do kind of a round robin with people that are there, talk about different issues, but focusing on the issue of the police and Maricopa's relationship, which is good. So that's the 22nd at the library, starting at 9 a.m. and going to 10:30 a.m. So if you've got something else to do during the day, we get in and get out before it starts to get too hot as well. So look forward to you attending. And finally, I want to make a comment in reference to the new high school number 2. It is in a wonderful location. It is something that is needed, but we're going to need your support along the way. There's never enough finance to go around. So if there's an opportunity for you to contribute in any way that you might find yourself being able to do so, to its development or to special projects associated with it, please do, because the kids need it. And if you were out there on that particular day, and you saw the enthusiasm that was taking place that day, recognizing that we've grown that much that we need another school, another high school. And so thank you very much, and I'll have a very safe evening. Appreciate you.
Councilmember. So as everyone has said, there's a lot going on here in Maricopa, and it doesn't seem to stop. And just so you, again, recognize all that your council members are doing, and this isn't to aggrandize them, but this is how the city moves forward, is by them going to these meetings and advocating on your behalf and doing things to keep our interests in front of those who actually have a surrounding interest with us, whether it's the county or the state or the federal government and all the other things that are trying to be accomplished. So it takes a lot of work and a lot of coalescing to move someplace forward together. So again, thank you, council members, for all you do. A couple of things that just popped into my head as far as the many things going on here. One of them is that there's going to be a blood drive next week. I think it's on the 26th. It's here at the Maricopa Library. If you haven't had a chance, you can go, there's a YouTube video out there, but go to our Facebook page or our webpage, sign up on that, and we'd love to have your help here. We're going to try and make this a regular occurrence, so those that maybe can't do it this time could do it next time, but love to have your help here with a blood drive. The other things that obviously popping to my mind is the things that we've been talking about a lot. Those of you on Facebook know that I'm on Facebook a lot, know that I'm out there talking to folks and trying to answer my questions or answer questions to the best of my ability. And sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong, but at the end of the day, it's about trying to be as open and honest and transparent as possible. And so, I just wanted to address, again, what Councilmember Learman has hit on is that, we did have a tragedy this weekend. It's unfortunate to have to talk about. It's not one of those things people like to talk about. It's debatable whether we should talk about it, but it is a really important issue, and I think that the crux of the matter is one of those things that is what eats at us. In the end, we all want to help as many people as possible, and while sometimes that is possible, sometimes it's not, I think we can all do our part. And so I just wanted to convey that I've had the opportunity to speak to quite a few folks in the industry, and while there's all kinds of help out there, as Councilmember Learman talked about, some things are beyond us, but there are things that we can do. And I just wanted to give some information here. If you get an opportunity and you want to help in your own way, you can go to https://training.sprc.org. And again, that'll be on the video here. I can go back and repeat that, and I can post it tonight. But that is an area in which you can go to something that we all can do, which is a suicide prevention training. And those are things that I think we all need a better job in. You can also go to, that one is free. If you want to a little more informed training, there are two others. One is called, same thing, https://gprinstitute.com/individual-training. And that one is about $30. But again, it's a way in which you can help identify those in your life and around you to learning more about those that might suffer from those potential thoughts. And there's another one, and it's called www.livingworks.net/assist. And that one is about $28. So again, I hope that we'll all do our part to do our best in that. And just so you know, we did have a series of unfortunate tragedies from the young man in the McDonald's parking lot to also the young woman who died in a car crash, and I don't know if you heard about her or not, this weekend as well. So it's something that we certainly are aware of and we care for, but it is a shame. So if I could get your assistance here and the council's assistance, I would like to have a moment of silence just in their honor. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Well, that concludes the reports from the City Council and the Mayor at this time. That'll take us to the report from the City Manager. Nothing at this time, so that'll take us to the call to the public. So during the call to the public, just so you know, I usually go to the speaker cards first, and so I'll just go through those. They've just been in the order that they've been handed to me. As you'll see on the dais, on the podium here, we have a little timer. Everyone will get 3 minutes because we want to make sure we get to everybody. It'll go from green to yellow to red, and then there'll be a beeping at the end of that. So if you'd wrap up your comments at that point so that the next person can come up. So we'll start with those who have addressed with speaker cards, and then any of those who have not turned in a speaker card to this point may come forward and to please state your name and tell us what's on your mind. Again, just so you know, the council doesn't usually respond in a call to the public just because as a quorum, we have to stick to what has been agendized and is legal, but that doesn't mean we're not listening. And it also means that we have staff on hand that can help guide you through things that are brought up. And certainly we're always around after the meeting as well, so we can talk afterwards. So without further ado, Mr. Barry McCain, please come forward. Is that little green light on the base of that? Okay, I don't know what's up. I think we'll get it turned on for you here.
A lot being with Pinal Partnership. And what I learned was that what makes America great is people, empathy, and free speech. But what makes America strong is unity, diversity, and leadership that knows the difference between what a few people want and what a country needs. We live in a democracy, not a monarchy. And I, in my humble opinion, do not see a voter fraud. I see voter oppression. So it's important that we know now that isolation kills, but communities heal. Why? Because they talk with one another. So the way to save people is have two-way conversation. The Constitution talks about saying we the people. So therefore, we the people should be the most important part of the conversation. Should be the people at the bargaining table, not on the menu. But patriots are there to make sure that the Constitution is followed and each one of the amendments are not violated, because patriots follow the people, not put the people in peril. So therefore, it's important that we have the City Council meeting here, and I thank each one of you for what you're doing, because all of us are busy right now. It's important that we serve the people, so don't let the political gridlock keep you from serving the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Appreciate it. Next up here on the speaker card, I have Lois Garcia. Please come forward.
Hi. I apologize. Bear with me. Anxious.
Doing great.
Hi. Healing begins with each of us. Hi, my name is Lois Garcia. I am a mother, peer, advocate, educator, survivor, safe place, and so many more things. But more importantly, I am you. I have struggled to come to terms with my emotions given the tragedy that occurred here in our great town on Sunday. I have struggled with the correct words to say. I just have no words to properly convey how this is affecting me as well as our community. I have reached out to all who were affected by our loss personally. I went to McDonald's and gave them my personal cell phone number to post for anyone who may need it. I reached out to his mother, Miss Kaysen. I reached out to my brother and his other roommates, and those that expressed the same availability as myself to serve others in their time of need. Frankly, I didn't believe that I would be walking this road again so soon. It has met me at my door again. December 20th, 2020 was my induction into this club. I prayed that I would find a way to save someone else this pain, but sadly, here we sit. One of my baby brothers chose the same end. I am tired of those kind, beautiful souls leaving far too soon because they felt they had no other option and could no longer find hope in this world full of pain and suffering. If we do not have our mental health, then we have nothing. Some may argue that resources are available. However, this is what I found. The aforementioned resources are not what you think they are. For the adults over the age of 18, it is extremely hard to find resources to truly support their situation. Dealing with insurance or lack thereof presents its own hurdles. I have personally contacted a number of these organizations, set appointments myself to meet with them, and phone numbers. I have called and walked into these buildings to find that help. The waiting lists are extremely long for help or even intake. The case managers are overwhelmed with cases. The compassion fatigue has created a cold, calloused environment where there used to be empathy and understanding, and the clients and providers alike feel it. Unfortunately for us, Adrian fell into that category and sadly had no insurance. I asked his mother what she would like me to convey to you all tonight, and she stated, if he had had someone to be there, he wouldn't have felt alone. If the resources he needed would have been available, my baby might still be here. What are our asks of the city? Accountability, transparency, honesty, love and compassion, communication, our voices to be heard, for us to collectively work together to implement solutions to this growing problem. This is not a new problem. However, it has become a more prevalent one with the added stressors of the pandemic and the isolation it has brought for those who are already struggling. He was pouring into others. Who was pouring into him? I was. Were you? Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. We appreciate it. Next up is Miss Elizabeth Howell.
Mayor, City Council, I can't read that far, Ricky. City Manager. I feel a little uncomfortable standing here after the wonderful eulogy that we just heard, because my objective of coming to before the council tonight is to tell you how much I appreciate all of the work that you guys do. I know how busy you are. I see Bob everywhere, and Nancy's not very far behind. I just can't express enough my appreciation for all of the work that you do. I know how difficult it is to get around to all of these places that you visit and take care of the city. I know a while ago I saw something that in the sidewalk, and I texted the tall guy, Riggs, Mike. I texted Mike and said, Mike, we've got a problem. And next time it was all fixed. It was done, taken care of. And we have such a wonderful staff and people that take care of us. And I just wanted you to know how much we all appreciate what you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We appreciate it. Next up, I have the Prophet Kim Baker.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, staff. It's an honor to be here with you all tonight. I want to bring you greetings from the kingdom. You all seem like a very happy group of people. I stand tonight as a prophet of God, not ashamed, and to decree and declare that your city has come into his scope. I offered a document with a young lady on it. Name is Jessie Shockley. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 6, the conclusion says, "And a little child shall lead them." Jessie Shockley was reported missing out of Glendale, Arizona, and ultimately said that she was in the Butterfield landfill, which is a few miles up the road from here. We have discovered in court documents that that was a ruse, that she was never there, and the authorities knew it. Isaiah chapter 11, and he's known as the eagle-eye prophet. He's seen Maricopa. He's seen you all, and he sent me tonight. September the 11th, we are organizing a protest to take place right outside of the Butterfield landfill. We will not let this lay dormant another day. Our feet have been on the ground ever since this child has come up missing. And we're here today to ask for boots on the ground. You have contacts, you have resources. We have to bring this child home. She was never in that landfill. In the day that we live in, I'm not amazed by things that are going on. But if we who know the Lord don't stand up against the evil in the day that we stand, it will eventually consume all of us. I'm a fisherman of men. I have no problem with it. She was never there. Jessie was never there. They told us, Jessie, they knew where you were. Government expenses to uncover the earth. Now excuses to clear the air. Government corruption is everywhere.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I have another. Sorry, it's sent to me here. I think it's from Damon. Damon, are you in the audience? Damon Hahn, come on up.
Mayor, City Council, thanks for taking the time. My name is Damon Hahn. I'm one of the co-owners of a local food truck here called Coast to Coast Barbecue. With the help of Miller Dow, he helped us get up and running. And with things that we're doing and talking about and seeing in the city, there's over 14 food trucks here in Maricopa that are hitting the maps. We're getting attention, and we want to give back. We're looking for an event space that's going to be free of charge. We're looking for city help to provide that. It will be a fundraising event that'll rotate. It won't be a single beneficiary. We're looking to help organizations all over the city, and we're looking for the city's help to help us help the city, help the kids, help the different organizations that, if we can raise a couple $100 for them, that's what we want to do. And we're thinking maybe Pecana Park or something that the city might even want to help out with. That's all we're looking for. So thank you for your time and appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Damon. Damon, make sure you catch Rick or Nathan. Yeah, okay, that's all the speaker cards I have at this time. Anyone else, please come forward. Come on up. Just tell us your name for the record.
My name is Ashley. I'm here with cards that I haven't done since college, so please bear with me a little bit. So,
Ashley, can you pull that microphone down just so everybody?
yes.
There you go.
Okay.
Excellent.
You want me to sing? Never come. No, you don't. Okay. I have been a resident of Maricopa for more than 10 years. I love it. We're not leaving anytime soon. I'm also the parent of two amazing and talented kids that have each, like myself, suffered from deep depression. I stand here humbled when I tell you I had the money to fly my kids to my parents, and I was simply going to jump off the house. Calling some crisis line or 911 was not an option. I had already failed. I didn't want to bother anyone, and it was just easier to hide it. I have an amazing relationship with both my kids, so imagine my surprise when the police and rescue unit showed up at my door with my daughter, who I thought was at the park, as was usually the case. She was caught making an attempt, luckily before it was too late. She didn't come to me, her sister, school counselors. She didn't use any hotline numbers that were readily available and posted at the school. I asked her after the fact why, and here was her response to me. Because I didn't want anybody to know. Because I thought no one cared enough, and I was better alone. I was also scared of things getting more intense and real. She's gotten help at this point, and by the grace of God, she's doing well. The fear these people are feeling is real. My thought first thing about Adrian was, how scared must he have been? And it broke my heart. There's a significant section of our population that's getting missed, and I think Adrian's a perfect example of this. He represents the scared and hopeless who behave and act like regular everyday people. So what do I propose? There's local people willing to volunteer phone numbers and other contact information for this. We can reach out to churches, schools, as a meeting place, not a crisis center. Encourage not just the suicidal or struggling, but those with concerns for someone else. Where do they go? Those that think they can offer advice, a testimony, or simply a listening ear. Take the stigma out of the name of this new resource. I'm sure the community can come up with something good. We're not doctors, but Maricopa is well known for its ability to rally together for a good cause. And sadly, this one affects most of us in some way. The people at the vigil were strangers mostly, but we were all among peers, and there's a certain comfort in that. The group dedicated to Adrian's memory will be a group of peers that may need to talk to someone or find someone that needs to hear them. Facebook has been flooded with ideas and comments about the issue and flaws in the system. One person suggested naming a street or park after Adrian. Mr. Mayor, I understand you could possibly help with that. I ask you and anyone to please support the members of your community that are now trying to take action in the wake of Adrian's death. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Appreciate it. Anyone else at this time like to come forward? Please. Come on up. Tell us your name for the record.
Hi, I am Brenna Alvarado, daughter of Ashley Alvarado. You couldn't tell. Again, like she said, bear with me. First time doing this, so this ought to be fun. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it's called present. I'm sure we've all heard this at least once in our lives. And for most people, it does hold its truth. But there are some people out there who disagree with this statement completely. Sadly, that young man recently took his life. I'm sorry. I was sadly one of them. As I have been taught, actions speak louder than words, and I believe something should be done, as my mother has suggested. A community built or established, maybe event place, more of a crisis line. Lovely, I lost my spot. 1 second. All right, here we go. I speak with experience, as I say this, it takes a lot of courage to reach out and ask for help. Some people, sadly, just can't bring themselves to reach out. They are scared for their emotions to be tossed aside, stomped on, or ridiculed like, oh, you're fine. That is the worst thing you could say to someone. So, I plead with all of you today, everyone. It doesn't matter who Doesn't matter your age, your wealth, belief, religion. If someone is in pain, the least you can do is listen. That's all it takes. You could really make someone's day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time like to come forward? Mike is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to add just a little bit to that. I have a passion for Maricopa and children, and I would caution our city council to be careful about who you listen to federally and statewide. I don't really remember my civic lessons from school and college, but we have to be careful who we listen to, the globalists who decide that the air or the water or frightening us with bioweapons and experimental shots. Our children are afraid. They're afraid the world's going to end. We have a politician in the Congress saying that the world's going to end in 8, well, it used to be 10, I guess it's 8 now. So we want to encourage our children and help them feel safe here. And I don't know if that would be a city project or just promoting health and welfare for our children's mental state, but take away that fear, the mask, take away, there's certain things. Let's listen to the science. They say in the government, listen to the science, but the science does state, molecular biology states that it's so small, viruses and bacteria the mask can't keep it out. Our kids are scared to death. They're walking around outside with masks on. So I rest my case in that. Okay, so what I want to say is the last time I spoke, I was concerned about our dispatch services moving to Chandler. And Rick was very kind to answer my call and arrange a meeting with his secretary. Is it the assistant city manager? And yes, and Chief Hughes. So we had a good conversation. I was thankful for that I could express how I feel about a situation and that they were ready to answer and meet with me. So I'm really grateful for that. Where's that clock? I'm trying to talk fast, but I'm trying to stay calm. Okay, I think that's it. I'm not giving up hamburger. The little stinky cows can stay. I'm fine. That's good. I don't listen to Bill Gates. Nobody made him a doctor. So, and thank you for working on the Rig Road overpass. My daughter-in-law, I'm going to give her some good news, and that's encouraging. So, thank you. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else at this time like to come forward? Tell us what's on your mind. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the call to the public. Thank you very much for your participation. We really appreciate it. And that'll take us to the next item on the agenda, which is the consent agenda, which is item number 7. And this is item 7.1 through 7.14. Council, are there any questions on the consent agenda at this time?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I see no questions, so I have a motion and a second here. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. And it'll take us to the regular city council agenda, which is item 8.1, starting with, this is the mayor and city council shall hear public comment. So this is a public hearing at this point regarding the use of community development block grant funds, or CDBG funds. The city of Maricopa is expected to receive approximately $182,844 in the fiscal year 2019 federal CDBG funds from the Arizona Department of Housing regional account. So, Danya, take it away.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. I'm Dania Castillo, Management Analyst for Economic and Community Development, and I'm here to conduct the second public hearing regarding the Community Development Block Grant Funding Program. But before we proceed with public input, I do have a short presentation regarding the CDBG program. The city of Maricopa is expected to receive approximately $182,844 from the Arizona Department of Housing. Those funds must be used to benefit low and moderate income persons, prevent the elimination of slum and blight, or address an urgent need. These are the 3 national objectives. The project selected must meet one of the 3 national objectives listed above. In this slide, you can see the past CDBG projects that have been funded. As you can see, most of the projects are within the Heritage District, and that's because currently the Heritage District is the only area that qualifies for CDBG funding. As you may recall, the Heritage District is designated as a redevelopment area, so therefore that area meets the national objective of slum and blight. So going back to May 6th, the city staff held the first public hearing for these funding, and the following project was brought forward by staff. The project is identified as Edwards Avenue fencing. The project location is Edwards Avenue between Maricopa Road and Taft Avenue. The project cost is estimated at approximately $203,000. The scope of work consists of replacing the existing fence in the east and west side of the road with approximately 1,500 linear feet of new block fence. The project, again, is within the redevelopment area, so it would meet the national objective of slum and blight. We have some images of what Edwards Avenue looks now. This is Edwards Avenue looking west. This is Edwards Avenue looking east. Here we have the recycle facilities on the east of Edwards. And this image shows the conceptual image of what the improvements would potentially be looking like. This is Edwards looking east. So in addition to this project, the city has future improvements planned within this area. The improvements consist of road work, which is road pavement, and adding sidewalks, curbs, and gutters. And also the private water company is currently installing water and sewer lines along Edwards. So this project will really continue the city's efforts to revitalize the Heritage District. And this slide provides a list of the benefits of having done this project. This project will have a significant impact and will be beneficial to the residents living within the Heritage District. And investing in improving the appearance of Heritage District is the best way to beautify and revitalize this area. And that concludes my short presentation, and now we can open the hearing for public input.
Thank you, Danya. Appreciate it. We'll call the public hearing open at this time. Does anyone in the audience like to step forward and speak to this item and this item only? You may do so now. Okay, seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at this time. Council, any questions from you at this moment? You have something, Councilmember Vitiello?
So who would maintain after the whole project is finished? Will each individual have some part of maintaining the area that we're...
Most likely the gates, but the block fence would be within the city's right-of-way, so it would be the city.
So the gates would be taken care of. If it breaks down, they're responsible for the fixing of everything?
With the exception, if the adjacent property owners damage the fence, then they would be responsible, but otherwise, yes. And ultimately, there'll be some additional landscaping and all that will go in through that area as well.
Thanks.
Great. Any other questions at this time, council? Thank you very much, Tanya. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, that'll take us to item 8.2. This is the resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Maricopa, Arizona, authorizing the submission of an application for fiscal year 2019. And that is not a typo. We're doing this kind of in arrears due to a variety of reasons. But in essence, it's everything is moving forward. State and community development block grants funds, certifying the said application meets the community's previous identified housing and community development needs and the requirements of the state CDBG program, authorizing all actions necessary to implement and complete the activities outlined in said application. This is for discussion and action. So again, council, any questions on the resolution at this time? If not, can I have a motion to approve, please? Have a motion from the vice mayor. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second from Councilmember Learman. Any further discussion this time on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay, it takes us to item 8.3. This is a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Maricopa, Arizona, committing local funds as leverage for a fiscal year 2019 community development block grant application. This is for discussion and action. Donnie, would you like to explain this just ever so slightly?
Sure. Based on the engineer's cost estimate, the project cost is $202,763. And out of that amount, the CDBG grant will only cover $182,000. So the city would need to commit the additional $20,000 to complete the project.
Okay. Council, questions on that item? All right. If not, can I have a motion, please? Go. Councilmember Wade, second Vice Mayor Smith. Any further discussions at this time? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And item 8.4, the mayor and city council shall discuss and possibly take action on adopting a tentative budget for fiscal year 21-22. This is actual fiscal year 21-22, and the 5-year capital improvement plan. This is for discussion and action. Mike, take it away. Wow us with your financial knowledge here.
I'll do my best.
The other tall Mike.
Mayor Price, Vice Mayor Smith, members of council, thank you for your time. My name is Matt Kozlowski, and I'm the city's Chief Financial Officer. And I appreciate a few minutes of your time to talk about this year's budget. So let's get to it. Obviously, the budget process for a city is a long one, a lot of difficult discussions, a lot of strategic discussions. So it's impossible to acknowledge everybody that's involved in this process, but I'll do my best to start that process by saying that it starts with the futures planning that took place this year with all the members of council. So we thank you for your time and commitment to that. City Manager Rick Horst, Assistant City Manager Jennifer Brown, Mike Riggs, our Director of Public Services, and his commitment to the CIP process. All of our directors, multiple members of their department staff that help put these together. It is a lot of work. And I have the honor very quickly to acknowledge some of my own staff, if you don't mind. So I'd like to do so. A budget process, of course, starts with our budget manager, Lacelle Blancarte, if you can stand, please. Thank you. And Lacelle has a wonderful financial analyst who can't be here tonight, Lena Zhu. She's fantastic as well, so we appreciate her assistance in that. Brenda Hassler, our finance manager, if you could please stand. A couple other members cannot be here tonight due to family commitments. Gia Valenzuela, our accountant, and Brittany Treadwell, our accounting specialist. And then last but not least, our other accounting specialist, Kat Fatana, if you can please stand. Thank you. And allow me to score a few boss points real quick and announce her proper name, which is Piamanis Prafa Fatana. So, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, now I, of course, just have the honor of standing here to talk about these things real quick, but we as a city staff believe this budget is a manifestation and a presentation of the visions that you have provided for the city, so let's get to it. Oh, hold on a second. Just a few quick headlines and highlights, and by the way, I'd like to recognize the wonderful work from Abel Acosta, from our community services team, who put together this wonderful cover for it, so thank you, Abel. As we look to reimagine Maricopa. So the Budget and Finance Committee meetings took place on March 9th and April 20th of this year. The proposed budget books were distributed to all members of council on April 20th as well. Tentative budget will be posted to the city website and available for review no later than 7 days from today, so it will be available for everyone to view. And there is no requirement for a truth and taxation hearing this year, as the reduction of our primary sales tax rate to 4.37% falls beneath the requirement of 4.46% to hold a hearing. That's right. I like it. So poised for significant growth in retail and employment center growth in the next 3 to 5 years based on the strategic initiatives that we're rolling out as a city. The FY22 budget is representative of that futures planning session and the present possibilities identified by our council and our city leadership team. And the tagline that we really want to focus on with this year's budget is doing more with less. So let's talk about what that means real quick. City Manager Rick Horst's transmittal letter to council this year uses the phrase doing more with less, and it's not just a fancy marketing slogan, it is a reality. For fiscal year 21, the city budgeted $55.7 million in general fund revenues and $55.6 million in general fund operating expenditures. For fiscal year 22, we are forecasting $62.4 million in general fund revenues, but only $54.7 million in operating expenditures, representing an $800,000 decrease in operating expenditures year over year. And this, of course, is a recognition of the ingenuity and creativity of our department directors who were challenged to go and find a way to do things, to save money, to save time, to create efficiency, and truly do more with less. Now let's talk about the one that everybody likes, the reduction in our primary property tax levy. Fiscal year 21, we had a 4.63% primary property tax rate. We have seen, in this case, an assessed property growth value of $1.21 million as a city. This, of course, is a great story. New construction, property valuation growth of the current properties is great for our city, our citizens. And the decision was made to go ahead and take a 26-point basis cut and provide that back to the citizens. In addition to the 26 basis points we are doing in the primary property tax, there's also a 5 basis point reduction in our secondary property tax for the bonds. When you combine this with the 10 basis point savings that we will see from the fire district bond going away as of June 30th, this represents a 41 basis point tax cut in property taxes for our citizens. So, very good story to tell right there. Now, one of the things when we talk about being creative, being efficient, is people may presume that we're doing something funny with the numbers or cutting things that are really important to our citizens, and we wanted to show that in this case, that is not what has been done. If we look at the public safety and public services budgets year over year, that actually has increased $400,000, which is again a testament to we are not taking away the things that our residents need in the budget process. We are committing to the things that are important to them while still finding creativity in our operating expenditures. Real quick, we've talked about operating expenditures. Where does that revenue growth come from? When we talk about the ability to move from 55.7 to 62.4, a part of that comes from the primary property tax growth on assessed value. Local sales tax growth, which is of course representative of the retail opportunities from new citizens coming into town, new construction taking place in town, a slight increase in the intergovernmental revenues, and then a big chunk of that is the licenses, fees, and permits issued by the city for all the activity taking place. And that's how we arrive at 62.4 on a year-over-year growth curve. Now, what does that additional revenue go to? That additional revenue goes to our CIP plan, the capital improvements that our city needs to grow and move on to the next phase as a city. So we have a number of tools at our disposal in order to make these investments as a city. As you can see here, there's a county road tax that is available. The general government CIP, which is the revenues that we're collecting, goes towards that bucket. We have grant opportunities that we have. We have HERF, we have the development impact fees. There are a number of ways that we can make creative investments in the city and do something special. So what I would like to focus on real quick is what those investments are going to for the city. And obviously right away, we can see that 58% of those capital investments are in infrastructure, streets, and roads. And another 16% is for economic development. So almost 75% of our capital improvement budget is completely focused on things that will improve the city from an infrastructure and an economic standpoint, which brings in more citizens, it brings in more opportunity, brings in more development. It's a pretty fantastic story to tell for the city. And again, I think is representative of what you have asked the city staff to do to attract attention to the city of Maricopa and to improve lives for our residents. So what I'd like to do now is take a few minutes to focus on just a few projects and not take too much time focusing on all the details, but some of the more important ones that we think are valuable for the citizens. Number one, of course, is the investment in a new police administrative building and a remodel of the current one. We have outgrown the needs of our police at this point in the current building. This represents a significant investment in our public safety, and coupled with the recent investment in the fire administrative building, this is representative of us making sure that the citizens of Maricopa receive fantastic service from their public safety teams for a long time to come. Chief's pretty happy about that too, I think, right, Chief? Right here is a small investment in the planning and design phase of the multi-use trail master plan for the city. As the city continues to grow, it's important that we establish trails and paths that allow the citizens for a variety of users to enjoy. This is something that has been a passion project for a while for the city, and this represents the first phase in investment of stepping into this project. This is an investment in the pedestrian overpass at UPRR and Maricopa Road. The closing of the at-grade roadway crossing of the UPRR removed a vital pedestrian connection, and introducing this will make the connection to Maricopa High School and allow that pedestrian crossing to facilitate more pedestrian traffic. This project right here, the landscaping on 347 from Honeycutt to the north city limits, including the installation of an entry monument when you drive in from the north end of town along the 347. Again, this is a project that focuses on the improvement and beautification of the 347 and is going to lead into a few other projects here that I'll mention here in a minute that are, I think, a pretty exciting story for the city to tell. Before I get to that, this is the traffic signal install at Honeycutt and Maricopa Road. This is already a potentially dangerous intersection during school hours, and with the new hospital going in at that same intersection, this signal will allow the existing streets, curbs, and sidewalks to exist and institute a signal that will keep public safety where it needs to be. So, going back to the beautification project, this leads into what for me is pretty exciting, is the improvements that we're looking to do on 347. This one right here highlights the Smith Inc. and 347 intersection improvements. With all the traffic there, particularly during the AM peak, this is going to allow a dual westbound to northbound free flow, dual right turn lanes that will be installed. Restriping of the intersection will also occur. We will also have a driveway leading into that CVS on the north side of Smith Inc. that will be located further to the east and allow for the intersection and the flow of traffic to be eased. They will also fix the signal timing to adjust and make that more efficient as well. So that's pretty exciting. This one right here is the 347 and Lakeview right turn lane. By adding a northbound general purpose lane on 347 from Cobblestone Farms Drive to the north city limits, this is going to ease some of that traffic congestion out of town every morning. And we're calling attention to this one because this is a very recent and late quote from ADOT that was not in the initial budget binders presented to you, so I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of this project. This one, Lakeview Road and 347 intersection improvements. With the right turn traffic volumes on Lakeview in the morning peak hours, this will be reduced to improve congestion in that intersection area as well. So a lot of projects are happening on the 347 that is very important to the residents, and this allows me to kind of come to the crescendo of what we're trying to accomplish with the planning and design phase of the Green Road bypass and loop design and the east-west corridor. And if we start thinking about these investments that the city is going to make, particularly the east-west corridor, we start thinking about the future of Maricopa transportation, a beautified and improved 347, the potential for a loop around the city, the east-west corridor, MCG, and long-term thinking with the I-11 corridor as well. We start to see the future of what transportation can look like for Maricopa. And for me, even as a numbers guy, it's pretty exciting to think about this and say, City Council, of course, is focused on the important needs of today, but we are also focused on the future needs for the city long after any of us might be able to make that impact because we care. And not every city can say that. I think it exhibits a future thought process and a leadership process that a lot of organizations lack today, and it's pretty exciting to be a part of as a city staff. So we appreciate that, and we think that this is all pretty exciting and representative of the present possibilities and the future possibilities for the city of Maricopa.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Council, questions, concerns? Vice Mayor.
Thanks, Mike. I am a numbers person as well. I love numbers, and I serve on the Budget Finance Committee, and so I don't have any questions, but I do want to let you know that I'm really proud of the city of Maricopa. I'm proud of your staff. They've done a phenomenal job. I'm proud of the entire staff for looking at ways to do more with less. It's really, really exciting, but I love the fact that you brought up some of the projects because that's what really speaks to people. The numbers are like cool and everything to us who like numbers, but they're not all that cool to people who want to know what's going on in the city. So I picked out a few of my favorites. You named a couple of them, but if it's okay, I just want to bring out a couple more.
Of course.
I love the idea that we're going to be doing 2 ball fields in Rancho Lakes, and so that's pretty exciting as well. It adds more additional park space. We're also working on the public market project, which is going to be really exciting in terms of offering the infrastructure there to have more economic development. That's really thrilling. Oh, I wanted to bring up the fact that, yes, we're going to be moving the police department, but the old police department becomes a arts center. That's really exciting for the city of Maricopa, and I know that the art people are really excited about that as well. So besides the ones you mentioned, those are some of the fun things, and if anyone's interested, you can dig into the capital improvement project. There are a lot more infrastructure projects going on. You're going to see a lot happening in terms of roads, and unfortunately, that might impact traffic a little bit, but it's going to be wonderful when it's all done. But it's really exciting, and congratulations. It was a thrill to work with you on this year's budget, and it was exciting to see what you all accomplished.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else at this time? Comments, concerns, questions? Yes, Councilmember Manfredi.
I've served on the Budget Committee for a couple years now, 3 or 4. And this process worked really well this year for our other council members. You know, Rick and the staff came to us with projects and numbers, and there was no worry on my side to, you know, check into a lot of the stuff behind it, because I trust that our staff was working really hard to give us the numbers that matter, to get projects together that matter. And I have so much trust in Rick as our city manager that I can't say I've ever, 6 years, I guess, I've been on council, Henry? 6 years?
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years we've been on council, and this is the best forward budget I've ever seen. So I'm proud of our staff, and I think you guys have done a great job. Thank you.
Yes. Councilmember Wade.
I just want to add to what Vince said, that I've used this term before, that you be the truth police. That when you're out there about in the community and people are talking about improvements and things that are being done and why we're doing them, that you were there when we discussed them, and that you know that there's other opportunities to discuss it if you need to, and that we are fiscally responsible, less with more. That I didn't bring my budget with me, but the budget was 3 times normally what it was this year, normally. So less with more started with the paper that we saved by not producing a document that was that big. So, thank you very much for what you guys do. Thank you for making us look so good as far as the city council and the city amongst the other cities as well. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll add my commentary here. You know, again, also being a part of the Budget Finance Committee for many years now, you know, every city manager, every general staff seems to do it a little differently. But, you know, again, I just want to give the audience some background. You know, one of the things that your city council does is our job is to advocate on your behalf. And so we spend a lot of time in the community, as you've heard tonight, spend a lot of time talking to people, spend a lot of time in meetings, spend a lot of time on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and whatever other thing, so that we can be a part of understanding what folks want. And while we can't always do everything, sometimes I think as a city it feels like we're trying to do everything, because, you know, what we have is we have a lot of different areas that we're responsible for. And it's really hard. It's like feeding your children, right? You got to feed them all, but sometimes you have to feed them differently, and yet not make them feel like they're getting fed differently. And ultimately they have to be healthy, and they have to grow together, and they have to accomplish the goals. And so the city council gave direction to staff and the city management. How do we take this? How do we reduce our property taxes, our high taxes, bring them down, while simultaneously growing the city so that you can grow out of problems, right? You can't build roads if you don't have money. You can't get money if you don't have development. You can't have money if you don't have people here, if you don't have businesses here. And you can't do all the things that people want to see improved here without that growth. And so it's a real conundrum when you're trying to figure out how do you grow and contract something like a budget at the same time. And that's a real challenge. And so, you know, I certainly want to give staff and the city manager credit for taking to heart the advocacy that we, on your behalf, listening to you, trying to get these things into the budget, trying to get all the wants, all the needs, and everything in between in there, while simultaneously saying, but we can't continue to exist at this level, we have to bring it down. And so, again, growing your way out of that by growing the tax base, growing the businesses, growing the alternative methods upon which revenue comes in, means you're not just relying on one single side of it. You're not just relying on sales tax. You're not just relying on shared revenues. You're not just relying on property taxes. And so, again, diversity protects you in a recession. Diversity protects the city in a recession. And in these growth times, it's a wonderful opportunity to catch up for those things that we've been behind on, and at the same time do it in a fashion that is well thought out, well planned, and again is using every dime and every nickel to the best of its ability. One of the things that I would just like to point out that I think that of all of our city managers, City Manager Horst continuously pores over the budget and looks for ways to save. As a financial advisor, I really appreciate that. I think that's somebody, it's like being a numbers person, I think that's really good. Now, that doesn't mean we're looking to cut just to cut. It means we're looking to improve efficiency and get more done with less. And so, again, that has been the mantra of the City Council. It's been the mantra of the city staff. And I hope that what you'll find this year in this budget is, as Vice Mayor said, you're going to see a lot of road construction projects. And it's going to frustrate you at first because you're going to think, oh my gosh, I can't go anywhere in this city without construction. But I promise you, in about 6 to 8 months, when you can now go down those roads and they're wider and they're nicer and they have curbs and gutter to them and they look like they're here permanent and they allow for the free flow of traffic in a way that you've never experienced in this fast-growing city, you're going to really thank the fact that your tax dollars and that little bit of time that was frustrating ended up being such a nice and wonderful thing. And so it will make property values go up. It certainly increases the overall ability for people and for you all to enjoy where you live and enjoy the wonderful planning that's being done. So again, be patient with us, but again, you're going to see your dollars going to work in things that you can see, feel, and touch. And I can promise you another thing, that if all things hold true in the near future, the additional businesses and population and things from retail to industry that people have been clamoring for. That's another way you help with the 347, is you keep people off that road by not having to travel out of the city to work. And so the more of that we can attract and establish that base here of industry, then that's more people that want to come. But people forget, you don't get the big time industry until you have the quality of life, until you have the good infrastructure, until you have the good schools, until you have these things that CEOs and people want to have in their city. They're not going to come. And so that's what we're building, is we're building a foundation by which now we can compete and excel against any other city out there, and we have things that other people don't have. And that is a great fiscal management, a pro-growth and pro-business philosophy, and ultimately great infrastructure that is going to show and prove out that with the land that we have available, big projects are coming and exciting things are on the horizon. And so again, that's our goal. That's what you've asked of us, and that's what we're working towards, so that we can ultimately succeed in the long run with building all those things over a compounding factor. So again, many thanks to the staff, Mike, City Manager Horst, all of your finance staff. It's incredibly appreciated, because I know it's a ton of work. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments at this time? Okay, seeing none, let's see here. This item is a discussion and action. So again, this is to approve the 5-year capital improvement plan and the budget for fiscal year 2021 and 2022. Is there a motion? Councilmember Manfredi has made the motion to approve. Vice Mayor Smith has seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. That concludes our city council meeting, and we will stand adjourned for 2 weeks, upon which time we'll see you back here on June 1st. We hope you'll join us. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please, council? Motion by Councilmember Wade, second by Councilmember Manfredi. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. See you in 2 weeks.
Bring a friend.